You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. This episode will be about a phenomenal heat and humidity event that took place in South Texas and Mexico Thursday, May 9th, 2024. A very impressive heat and humidity event took place in South Texas and Mexico Thursday, May 9th. Now, usually on the Gulf Coast, the dew points tend to be 10 degrees lower than the water temperatures along the Gulf of Mexico. Water temperatures in the Gulf, the Brownsville National Weather Service tells us, were in the low 80s. That means usually you could expect dew points to be in the low 70s. As we head into summer, mid and late summer, those water temperatures approach 90 degrees, upper 80s, dew points common to rise into the upper 70s. Houston, Texas will commonly see dew points in the mid 70s. Galveston, upper 70s, occasionally 80 degrees. This event is something spectacular, really, because the dew points were exactly the same as the water temperature. Totally impressive stuff. Let's start off with McAllen, Texas. Maximum dew point there actually was 74 degrees. Well, possibly higher, but the highest heat index there, 124 degrees. The high temperature there, 111 degrees. That occurred at 4:50 p.m., as late as 6:25 p.m. Dew points were in the lower and mid 70s. Maximum heat index 124 degrees, 4:50 p.m., a dew point of 72 degrees. Brownsville, Texas, high temperature 104 degrees, dew point 81 degrees. This occurred at 3:05 p.m., May 9th. Heat index 129 degrees. For those in the Celsius system, that high temperature was 40 degrees Celsius. The dew point was approximately 28 degrees Celsius, possibly 27 degrees Celsius, and that heat index of 129 degrees Fahrenheit, that's well past 50 degrees Celsius. It's 54 degrees Celsius. Very intense stuff. Harlingen, Texas, high temperature there, 108 degrees. Highest dew point there, 81 degrees. Maximum heat index 126 degrees. That occurred with a temperature of 102 degrees, dew point 81 degrees at 5 o'clock p.m. Totally impressive stuff. Winds were from the east at the time. Bayville, Texas, high temperature shot up at 93 degrees. Dew point 79 degrees, heat index 110 degrees. Mid-Valley, Texas, high 101 degrees. Maximum heat index 114, possibly higher. Dew point 76 or 77 degrees. Edinburgh, Texas, high temperature 111 degrees. That's equivalent to 44 degrees Celsius. Maximum heat index 123 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's equivalent to 51 degrees Celsius. Temperature at that time, 102 degrees Fahrenheit, equivalent to 39 degrees Celsius. With a dew point of 79 degrees, that's 27 degrees Celsius. 26 degrees Celsius. Zapata, Texas saw a high temperature of 112 degrees. That occurred at 5:15 p.m. That's about 44 degrees Celsius. The heat index was only 109 degrees at that time due to the low dew points. Maximum heat index over there, 109 degrees. So the maximum temperature 112, the maximum heat index only at 109. Falfurria, Texas, maximum temperature 101 degrees. That occurred around 4:35 p.m. Dew points This city saw the highest dew points in Texas. Dew point hit 83 degrees. We had at one point, temperature was 98 with a dew point of 82 degrees. Heat index 123 degrees. Kingsville, Texas. High temperature 97 degrees. Dew point was 79 degrees. Heat index 116 degrees. That occurred 4:56 p.m. May 8th. Possibly was hotter on May 9th. Elise, Texas, 101 degrees. Temperature at 4:40 p.m. was 100 degrees. Dew point 79 degrees. Heat index 120 degrees. Corpus Christi International Airport. Maximum heat index 117 degrees. That occurred at 3:51 p.m. The temperature at the time was 94 degrees Fahrenheit, 82.82 degrees. In Celsius, the temperature Fahrenheit, about 34 degrees Celsius. The dew point, 28 degrees Celsius. One of the more interesting things that took place in this heat wave was wildfire smoke, which reduced visibility to 2 miles at times. This smoke came from Mexico. In addition, there was a mist that was reported across many of the areas early in the morning. This mist likely contributed to the high humidity later in the day, and the smoke may also have attributed to this mist. Smoke is able to absorb moisture. It is possible that the smoke was a variable in producing such high dew point air, such high humidity, when water temperatures were only in the low 80s. The other mystery to figure out is how temperatures got into the triple digit this time of the year, especially considering that the western portions of Texas, which did not have humidity, were only 5 or 10 degrees warmer than this. We will point out that for today, very high temperatures, it's a rarity in Tel Aviv and over much of Israel. Friday, May 10th, temperatures went into the hundreds across much of Israel. This is the first time since there was a heat wave in April, a 1 to 2 day heat wave in April 26th or so. Temperatures were in the 70s ever since. Normal high for Tel Aviv, 82 degrees. High temperature, 102 degrees. The winner for heat index is in Santa La Marina, Mexico yesterday. The high temperature was 114 degrees. Dew point was 75 degrees at the time. This produced the heat index well into the 120s. I don't know if that's the winner actually, because Brownsville hit 129 degrees. Certainly an interesting heat wave. And it fueled very intense and interesting tornadoes that developed. You can read more about that in the Washington Post. But tornadoes that actually developed and moved in the opposite, they rotated clockwise, like a high pressure system, instead of like a vacuum, like they usually do. There was 2 of them. Washington Post reports that it's not that uncommon. You can read more about that in the Washington Post. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. You've been listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. This podcast can be found on almost every platform where podcasts are available.